Hi class, I want to share with you a book that I love. It is what I would consider an informational nonfiction picture book. And it is Bugs in My Hair by David Shannon. I love this book. It's a story about a little boy that gets lice and what his day is like. And it goes kind of into detail about what's happening and what lice is, what they're doing, and how you get rid of them. One of my favorite things is on the back, it says, warning, this book will make you itchy. And it will. I'm sure by the time I'm done with my video, you will have scratched your head a few times. I love this book. My daughter got lice when she was in kindergarten, and about a week after we had lice, the Scholastic Book Fair came into town, and she picked this book off the shelf and said, Mom, I think I want this book. And I said, oh, we have to have this book. I thumbed through it, and I thought it was fantastic. And so we brought it home, and we read it several times because we had just gone through lice, and she loved it. So like I said, this book is a fantastic picture book. The pictures are big and bold and bright, and they really go hand in hand with the story. They almost enhance it to make it funny, that the lice bugs have, character in themselves. I love the typography of the words on the pages. They jump out, they're big, they're bold, and really explaining kind of what's going on. As well as it gives just enough information, I think, for a child to understand what is going on with lice. So it starts out with a little boy that comes home and tells his mom that he has lice, and she's running out the door, and she has to battle the terrible head lice. So one of the pictures that I love, see how they're very bright, pictures are very big, words are fantastic. It says, there were bugs in my hair and they were laying eggs. And it says, lice eggs are called nits. And here is a picture of the nits, and then the pictures of the lice bugs, so the kids can kind of understand what's in their hair, because they're really small, really hard to see. So there's some great pictures, that just kind of explain what's happening. So here it is. He thinks that there's a Licepalooza going on in his hair. And so this is just a fun picture, big, bright words. And it looks like they're just having a heyday in his hair. So it talks about how itchy he is, and that he can't stop itching his head. And he thinks that party's going on, and it says, actually, they're feasting on my blood. And I love that he is a vampire, and he's feasting on this little boy's scalp. And that's what's happening. That's why you itch, that they bite you and suck your blood, and that's what makes you itch. And they're going around and they're laying eggs as well. So then he talks about going to school the next day and feeling kind of humiliated and nervous and scared. And it says, this is how I felt. And you can see that his face is very nervous. And he thinks that this bug is huge and that everyone can see. And they're pointing and laughing at him. And what I love, it says, this is the actual size of a louse. And it's this teeny tiny dot, that no one can see. But he thinks everyone can see it. And he talks about looking around the classroom and wondering who else maybe has lice, because he got it from somewhere, and who's scratching their head, and one person saying, oh, I have dandruff, and the other one says that I have sand in my hair, and other people start itching even though they don't have lice, because that's kind of what happens. I'm sure you're itching now. You think that you have lice and you're scratching because you think that you have it. And what I love is, it says, I heard about lots of cures, and it states that there's one of them is shaving your head, one's using strong chemicals, another one is mayonnaise, and to him, they all sounded awful. One picture that I love is, as a parent who has gone through lice before, is this one, and it says, lice are really hard to get rid of. It was like they took over our whole life. And here he is miserable, sitting with all the, what he thinks these bugs are all around him. And here his mom is carrying a big, huge thing of laundry, because if you've ever had lice, you're washing and scrubbing everything. And so I thought that was funny. So then he explains that they're off to war. They're going to fight these bugs and get rid of them. And here is his mom, all armed and ready for war. She's got her glasses on, a hairnet, the stinky stuff that lice hate, which is eucalyptus oil, peppermint oil, or tea tree oil. A knit comb is what gets rid of them. And it says that his mom has run up and she has armed herself with the battle-tested anti-lice weapons. And they are going to get off to work. And this picture I love, and it explains, especially to a child, like what's happening on their scalp. So here is the knit comb that is combing through, picking up all those bugs and the knits. It's so tight, and they're combing through and getting rid of them. And it says, "The party's over, little nasties." So it was great for my daughter to see, like, oh, that's that miserable part where you were combing my hair. And I'm like, yeah. So then he talks about, getting checked out, the lice is gone, they've done everything that they've needed to do, and oh no, they're back. And I love this picture of the lice like sticking his tongue out at him, like, haha, we're back, we're gonna get you. And then the very last page says, "So we went through the whole thing again, and now at last those awful, disgusting lice are completely gone. And this time I'm not taking any chances." And here he is with the helmet, protecting his head so that nothing happens again because it was so awful. But I love this book. I think it's a great picture book. It fits very well into that genre. And it does give the kids just enough information about lice to understand what's happening to them and, why they have to do the things that they do to get rid of them. I really hope that you like this book. I loved it. It has personal meaning to me. It makes me laugh when my daughter pulls it out to read it and talks about the time that she had lice. It's an awful flashback for me, but I hope you guys all enjoy it. And have a good night.